Hi. Okay, so I just like recorded this and it didn't record, so I'm kind of sad. So I'm a little emotional. I was talking about my experience at Auschwitz a little bit. So a couple. Oh, we're here in Krakow. It's been a couple days. We've done a lot. We've been busy bees, but it has all been absolutely amazing. Like what we did Schindler's Factory, which is really interesting to learn more about. Our tour guide was awesome, Jimmy. He was like a Saturday Night Live character. I will be making a character up about him. Just wait, keep watching in a couple years. But no, we did that. Went to Zakopane, which I will never see views like that ever again. So that was absolutely incredible for me. It was breathtaking. We went to the castle today. Of course, we went to Auschwitz, Auschwitz-Birkenau. So that was probably, that's kind of really the experience I want to talk about today. It was like kind of what I noticed and really just kind of my experience there. And like about remembrance and grief. I really like enjoyed that lecture that we had on the bus. So shout out to you, Tasha. That was great. But yeah, so my experience at Auschwitz. So it's been a couple days, so I've been able to process it a little bit more. Although I was just talking about it to myself for a while, so I'm kind of shooken up a little bit about it. I was thinking about it more. But yeah, so it was a very surreal experience for me. It was very, very cold. Especially in Auschwitz-Birkenau, because that place was huge. I had no idea the camp was that big. No idea at all. So, when we were walking, like a couple miles maybe even down to get outside of the camp more that first time, it was interesting. We walked in pretty much almost silence. The whole group did. I think we were all just kind of shocked at everything, and we were very cold. So I just remember looking down at the ground when the wind started blowing a little bit on my face. I just remember looking down and be like, look at the ground, like keep walking, keep going, because I don't know. And then that kind of made me think about, because I'm pretty sure I read in a book that's what, and it might have been even the book we're reading, Primo Levi's, I don't know, the book we're reading now, If This Is a Man. It might have even been in there, but it was a super eye-opening experience, just because I was like placing myself, like in where like the prisoners would walk and everything. So I just thought that was, I don't know, it was very surreal, kind of. I don't know, just thinking that's what they were thinking, like, just look at the ground, keep going, like, like when they were being herded to different areas of the camp and, like, herded into the gas chambers, like, they walked those paths, like, that I walked, and they thought some of those similar thoughts, obviously not the same. They were probably, they were in far less clothes than I was in the winter. I don't know how they did it. I really don't. It was really hard for me. I don't know how they found the will to go on and, like, just because they were stuck there. I knew I was going to go home to, like, a warm shower and, like, to a bed at night. So, I don't know. That was hard for me. But anyway, so that was crazy. But kind of what I really want to focus on is how we talked about prior to Auschwitz, how, like, people take pictures and selfies in there and, like, like, how they are using these selfies, like that one girl, as a remembrance of her father, or to honor her father. So the first thing I noticed when we kind of walked into Auschwitz 1, we were about to go through the gate that said, work will set you free, that iconic gate, or that iconic phrase too. There are people taking pictures, like of each other. I did see some selfies. I don't know, I didn't believe it. I really did not believe that people would do that. I got very, very uncomfortable watching them do that. There was a group of girls that were kind of ahead of us in the tour, and sometimes you'd run into them, and they were all taking pictures of each other, like in front of these like bunkers and like, in front of each block. And I don't know, it just kind of made me uncomfortable. It just didn't feel right. I felt weird taking pictures. I took maybe 10 pictures the whole time. I purposely left my big camera at the hotel. I just had my iPhone, and I just, took it out when I thought something, like I was very conscientious about when I was taking pictures, when I wanted to remember a feeling I had, or when I thought something was really interesting, like the art on the bathroom walls. I thought that was weird. Not weird, but like, I don't know, like I didn't know that was a thing, so that was really cool. But yeah, I saw a lot of people just taking pictures of each other and like kind of having fun almost, like on the railroad tracks and stuff. And like, I get if it's a little kid, they don't really understand what's going on, but I don't know, it was very, just thinking back like to our group, we have all this knowledge about this and like we kind of have some connection to it. We spoke to Arthur's grandpa, like we're gonna visit with Fania. I don't know, like I just feel like we had pretty good connection to this place. So seeing it was amazing, and like, you know, we've learned about the history. It's a household name, kind of stuff like that. So I don't know. Auschwitz was a very, very surreal experience for me being there. The bunkers that's where it really hit me the most, and seeing the human hair. I had no idea they had that much. But yeah, so anyway, it was a very surreal experience. I don't know, it's just really hard to put into words. It didn't really hit me that I was there until after that evening when I got home. I was texting my mom some pictures, you know, a couple of the pictures that I took, and like trying to explain to her, like, you know, what it meant, like what it was, and it was really hard to do. But then that was kind of when I was explaining to her, like, the history behind, like, the pond of ashes, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, when I was trying to explain to her what it was, and like about the crematoriums and how there was 4, but, you know, now only, or there was 5, 4 or 5, but only 1 remains. Like, that's when it really hit me that I had really gone to this place and what these people really have been going through, just because, like, and then I went home and read the book a little more too. And like, I was there. I know exactly what he's talking about. He mentions, and this is a man, he mentions the orchestra playing, and him hearing the music and like marching out to the beat of the orchestra. And I was like, I stood in the spot where the orchestra played. Like, I'm like, I was there. Like, I know exactly what you're talking. Well, not exactly what you're talking about. Like, you know, but I can see it. It's more clear, you know. So I don't know. Anyway, that experience was completely surreal to me. And I definitely think that anyone who has the opportunity to go should go. I would like to go back, I think, and maybe take some more pictures. I really didn't want to this time. I wanted to feel it, and I did. So I think that was good. But I would like to experience it in a different season, maybe when it is green outside, just because it was really cold and, you know, really gloomy and dark, and you got the feels a lot. So I really want to experience it in the summer or in like a greener season. But kind of to go along with, like, you know, remembrance and pictures and stuff like that. Wanting to remember things, kind of like that. You know, and people like taking selfies and wanting to use those selfies as a way to connect with the deceased of a loved one. Kind of like that one girl with her father did. We just read the article. What is it called? Continuing bonds, new understandings of grief. And then we had the awesome lecture, like I said, on the bus about kind of, you know, like different ways that people remember and stuff like that. And the main point from this article, the main argument is, like, should we continue these bonds with the deceased, or should we completely cut off ties altogether? And that was super interesting to me, just because I can't really connect to this. I've never lost anybody before in my life that is close to me. I'm very fortunate that I have yet to do so. So it's been a very interesting topic for me to kind of learn about this. But that just kind of got me thinking, and like, after reading this article, like, just things kept going through my head. Like, should we really cut off ties? Like, you know, the people at Auschwitz, like, I know many other survivors, like, after talking to Marta about, like, you know, the people that come back and stuff like that, kept running just through my head, like, how these people remember those that they lost, like, at this place that they want to block out of their head, and that they don't want to remember. Like, do they also forget about the people that they lost there? You know, like, did they cut off those ties? And, like, how, if they do remember them, how do they remember them? Because I'm sure those pictures are just so hard for them to look at. You know what I mean? Like, so do they remember them, like, by artifacts that they somehow kept? Or do they, you know, I don't know, you know, they remember their story, probably. So I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting to think about. Let's see. So I have a lot of unanswered questions, and these might not ever be answered, but I don't know, it's just something else I've been thinking about. Also today at the castle, I couldn't help but thinking, like, looking at all the artwork and at the, particularly the portraits of, you know, the people that lived in the building or the castle. I'm not really sure what was going on. I could not understand her. I tried really hard, but in self-portraits, because, like, back in the 1800s and like the Renaissance times, like before that, they didn't have cameras. Like, you know, they didn't have, like, their self-portraits, like their selfies, they were the paintings that took many, many hours. And that's, like, you know, all they really had for that. They had mirrors and stuff, of course, but they couldn't, you know, like, document that. So I kind of was like, that got me questioning, like, how do those people remember and honor the dead? Like, if they can't use photography like we can now. I don't know, I feel like that's a pretty common way to remember people that have passed, is pictures and stuff. So I just thought that was another kind of thing that kept going through my head constantly as we were walking around the castle. You know, they don't have the luxury we have of documenting everything. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much all I want to talk about. It's 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Auschwitz. That was just a very surreal experience for me, and I kind of wanted to share it a little bit. But this was, yeah, so I don't know. I really just want to continue learning about this more, and I'm really excited, Tasha, to read your article tonight for the next vlog. So I'm really excited to read that. And but yeah, so I'm going to go prepare for class that we have in a little bit. So, all right, bye.